This is part 2 of a work in progress of mine called A Gentleman's Dealings with a Fool. The build-up so far is that a character named Several Money has been hearing his name, and he can't tell if it's imaginary or not. He hears Sev, which is a short version of his name, Several, that a teacher once used and someone in a movie used for another character. It's not a word, a usage he's used to hearing. And he keeps hearing it, and he doesn't see anybody, and he has just woken up thinking he's been hearing something. He went back to bed, it being a weekend morning. He had failed to... That's where my first writing got cut off, and I resumed the next day. He went back to bed, it being a weekend, not even criticizing himself for setting the alarm clock the night before, which had been unnecessary, he not having to get up for work. At 1 in the afternoon, because although he was 30, Several slept like a teen emperor in his days off, a little sound of stone bouncing off the window caused him to wake. It came again, accompanied by a faint noise which sounded like his name, the short version of it, being called. Sev, Sev. Pebbles hadn't been thrown against his window since 1989, when he was 10. They used to be thrown by a little boy named Safe Workman. Safe Workman was the son of 2 lawyers long since divorced, Several had heard. He'd last seen Safe in 2003. Safe had come up to him at a Walden Books in the mall. Even that time, Safe had called him by his full name. That was 6 years ago, and even that was 3 years after they had ceased to be roommates. They were never especially close friends, but finances had driven them together, the common bond that money creates being no regarder of persons, and certainly no respecter of several. Safe had been 2 years divorced when he answered Several's roommate wanted ad. They had struck up their new acquaintance cordially, and in fact parted, Several thought, cordially, 4 months later, at which point Several had saved up enough money to pay the landlord 1 more month's worth of rent on his own, and moved back home at month's end, home being his parents' house. Not only did Safe never call Several Sev while they were living together, on 1 or 2 occasions when he was locked out, having forgotten his keys, he hadn't tried to get Several's attention by throwing pebbles against the window. He'd gotten an 18-foot ladder from the town and rapped on the window, the phone being off the hook, but he had not resorted to pebbles. Whoever was outside, whispering, if one could whisper from outside, or shouting quietly, Sev, throwing pebbles, did sound an awful lot like Safe, but it wasn't like Safe. He heard a pebble bounce again, went to the window, saw nothing, quickly got into a pair of pants and some shoes and threw on a shirt. He went to his front door, opened it, went out, and walked the perimeter of the house. There was a man standing in front of the garage. He hadn't seen him when he first went out the door. He turned right going around, but on the way back he did see him. He looked left and right when he went out the door, so the man must have moved. "Hey," said Several in an accusatory tone. "Hey," said the man in a friendly tone. The man had a beard with flecks of gray. Several didn't know what to say, so let the other man speak first. "Sev," said the other man. "I answer to Sev, my name being Several," said Several. "Don't get bristly, Sev," said the man, quickly grinning after noticing Several's unsmiling reaction. He stuck his hand out. Several did shake it. "Do I know you?" said Several. Before the man with the beard could answer, Several felt that particular chill he'd felt the last 3 days in the parking lot at work. "Did you come to my store?" he said. The man with the beard grimaced. "You do know me." "I don't know who you are, but it was you, wasn't it?" "You don't know who I am," said the man with the beard, "but you know me." "Is that a question or a statement?" "2 questions, 2 statements," said the man. "Were you throwing pebbles at my window?" "I didn't want to disturb anybody in the house." "Pebbles at a window are more disturbing than a knock at the front door. I assure you." "I assume you're a tenant, with your finances." "Well, yes, I am a tenant. My landlords aren't home. You could have knocked on the front door." Several let the crack about his finances pass. "Are you selling something?" said Several. "I've been sold," said the man. "Sold," said several. "You're sold on something?" said several. He was surprised at how insinuating he'd become with this stranger. "Sold on nothing. Sold down something." "Sold down something," several thought to himself. "Sold down the river," said the man. Several hadn't run into that phrase since Pudd'nhead Wilson. "Sold down the river," he heard himself saying. "Well, that's not good." "Well, that is good," said the man. "That's not good," quoting several. "That is rich." Several began moving. "Where are you going?" said the man. "To the end of my driveway. I'm getting the paper." "Let me guess. The New York Times." "Out of the 2.5 papers that are left in New York, I suppose that's a pretty good guess." "You always were a witty one, Several," said the man. "How is it that I know you?" said Several. "Apparently you don't know me," said the man. We're destined to go in circles, aren't we? We've only just met." "We'll go around in circles," sang the man. "Let it go around like a bird up in the sky. Ding, 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 ding. A #1 for Billy Preston, 1974. "Well, Mr. Preston, I don't know you." The man laughed and laughed. "You don't know much, do you?" He took a newspaper clipping from the pocket of his jacket. "Maybe this will refresh witness's memory," he said, handing Several the article. For a second, Several thought he was being subpoenaed for what he didn't know. It was a clipping from the local weekly paper. Several looked at the article. "I don't recognize anybody in it," he said. There was a huge picture above the text. "Well, you wouldn't," said the man. "Read what it says." Several read. "Main Street was host to the 10th Annual Green Marsh Pride Parade last Sunday, June 2nd, 2001. In front are L2R, Fukuyama Sue, chairman of Gay Straight Bisexual GSBS Pride, Fran Francisco, actor, and unidentified. It's a beautiful day to show your pride," said Fukuyama after the march. "So the article says there was a parade. I don't know any of the names." "You know the name of the park?" "Yes, I've certainly heard of Green Marsh Park. Why wouldn't I? I grew up here." "Don't get defensive," said the man. "I don't even know who you are. You come here and you show me an article as if there's some damning thing in there. I'm forced to ask you outright who you are." "Sev." "And who told you to call me Sev?" "Sev, you're upset." "Even innocent people are upset when people follow them." "Even innocent." "Are you from some neo-Nazi organization?" "Why would I be? Even conservatives know enough not to wave articles about gay pride parades in people's faces looking for some bizarre reaction." "I've hit a sore spot." "You've made a sore spot." That's what I have so far of part 2.